At this point, we're on number 21. And let me get there. Okay, so for number 21, this is the Decart rule of sines. And so what you want to do is, the first thing I want you to notice is there are no sign changes for the positives. You see how that's positive, 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 positive on all of these terms? So every single one of these terms is positive. So all of these, if you notice, have positive zeros. I wouldn't have even bothered looking at that. But they do have differences in the negative zeros, so I would do f of negative x, and then I would substitute that into the equation. So I would have negative x to the 7th power plus negative x to the 6th power plus negative x to the 2nd power plus negative x plus 7. This gives us negative x to the 7th. This gives us positive x to the 6th. This gives us positive x to the 2nd. This gives us negative x, and this is a plus 7. So now when I look at the sign changes, I see a sign change here. I don't see one there. I do see one here, and I do see a sign change here. So there are either 3 negative zeros, or, remember I said you subtract the next even number, which is 2. 3 minus 2 would give us 1 negative 0. So our answer choice for that should be D. For question 22, if you recall, I referred to this question. I talked to you about holes when we talk about limits in calculus. And so, in essence, immediately you're drawn probably to the denominator and you want to factor it and you think C is the answer. But it's not, because x plus 3 divided by x plus 3 times x minus 3 means that these cancel, leaving us 1 over x minus 3, and as a result, x cannot equal 3. So answer choice for this one should be B. Alright, see how much battery I've got going here. I've been hitting a hot spot. Let's see. Oh, 10%. Wow, that was quick. Okay, let me see. 10%. Let me see how much I can get done here. On this one, do you remember the rules when I was saying m is greater than n? There's no horizontal asymptote. Okay, you see how that's a 3 and that's a 2? There's no horizontal asymptote because you can actually divide. For 24, just remember that your horizontal asymptotes, because you have basically both are x squares, they're the same value. I could factor this to be x can never equal plus or minus 4. And secondly, I'm also noting that this is an even function. So because it's an even function, I can rule this out for sure, and I can rule this out for sure, because those are not even functions. Now, the other issue that I see here, you see how it says x is 2? And that's your vertical asymptote, because you do have a horizontal asymptote and you have 2 vertical asymptotes. These are the plus and minus 4, and it's these two respectively. And this one up here, that's your horizontal asymptote, which you get from looking at the coefficients of the function. So you notice it's 2 over 1, hence 2. Y is 2 is your horizontal asymptote. On number 25, number 25 is really easy to do because y-intercept means that f of 0 is one of your values, right? So if I do when x is 0, I'm going to end up with negative 2 over negative 4, and that's one of my answers, which reduces to 1/2. The only answer choice with that would be this one. Using division, by the way, well, you can't use division for this because this is x over x squared. So you could factor using the quadratic, you would still end up with a 0. Slant asymptote, you're merely dividing. So when you do x squared plus 8x and you divide that into x cubed plus x squared, 0x squared, excuse me, plus 0x minus 4, and you substitute this, you end up with x minus 8 on the top. Only answer choice for that would be this one. And yes, you have a remainder of some value which is irrelevant. Now by substitution for number 27, you would reduce this, so this would become 2x plus y equals 13. And therefore you would then subtract the 2x on both sides. So now you have y equals negative 2x plus 13. You would substitute this equation in for this y. So now you have 6x plus 4 times negative 2x plus 13. And that should equal 46 according to the, I'm going to put it over here because I'm running out of space. So if I distribute, I get 6x minus 8x plus 52. And so this gives me 46 is equal to negative 2x plus 52. I'm going to go ahead and subtract that 52 on both sides. Okay, so that's going to leave me with negative 6 is equal to negative 2x, so x has to be 3. That's great. So now we have one of the values. Now let's find the y. Now I'm going to take that x equals 3 and I'm going to throw it in there. And notice that negative 2 times 3 is negative 6, plus 13 is 7, so our answer choice should be C. The next one, solve the system by addition. All you have to do is rearrange this question. You can come see me for this. I really don't think you have an issue with this, but just rearrange it so that you have 4x plus 6y equals 106. And here you have 2x plus 6y equals 110. And immediately you start to notice that on this question you have, if you notice, the ratios are pretty similar for this. So you can actually solve fairly easily for this equation and obtain your answer. So if I were to subtract the bottom line, for example, I would end up with 2x is equal to negative 4 and x is equal to negative 2. Alright, and if you continue that process, for 28, this should be C. This would be your only answer with the negative 2. If you wanted to find out the rest of it, you would just substitute. Alright, and for 29, for number 29, I'm trying to be hurried because I'm about to have somebody knock on my door. Let's see. Believe it or not, I'm not cutting my grass today. I had somebody cut it for me. Feels special. Anyway, alright, so we have 7x plus y equals 37. And I'm going to rearrange this one so you have 7x plus y equals 51. Do you notice something about this question immediately? You notice these two terms are identical? And because that's the case, you would immediately know that you would have to use this type of notation. Because if you solve for x and y, you will get 0 equals a value, right? 0 equals some number. I'm not going to even work it out. But I just already know that that has to be the answer. Alright, and I'm going to do 30 by itself because it's a long question.